an original story created exclusively for Love Among Diamonds. The door clicked shut behind Violet with a finality that echoed in the luxurious hotel suite, trapping her with the one man she'd spent 5 years loving in silence. Adam Chen, CEO of Meridian Enterprises and groom-to-be in exactly 1 hour, turned from the window where Manhattan's skyline stretched beyond the glass, his bow tie hanging undone around his crisp collar. His dark eyes widened with confusion at the sight of her clutching an envelope. Her resignation letter, while the wedding preparations buzzed 40 floors below. The air between them felt charged, like the moment before lightning strikes, as Violet realized they were locked in together, with nothing but 5 years of unspoken feelings and 60 minutes before he would belong to someone else forever. Her heart hammered against her ribs as his phone buzzed with another message from his fiancée, and the words she'd never meant to say slipped past her lips. "I wish you chose me." Violet James had planned this moment carefully. A quick, professional goodbye. She would leave her resignation letter on Adam's desk while he was busy with pre-wedding preparations, avoiding any awkward conversations or emotional farewells. After 5 years as his executive assistant, she deserved at least the dignity of a clean break. The hotel suite that served as Adam's preparation room was exactly what she expected. Palatial and impersonal, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. Everything about it screamed wealth and privilege, from the crystal decanters to the custom tuxedo hanging on a valet stand. And not stir. She glanced at her watch. 3 p.m. The ceremony was scheduled for 4:00. Perfect timing. Adam would be with his groomsmen for photos, giving her just enough time to slip in and out unnoticed. But as she placed the cream-colored envelope on the mahogany desk, the suite door swung open. Violet froze, her heart leaping into her throat as Adam walked in, his bow tie undone, expression distracted. "Nanhaninam." "Violet. His deep voice carried surprise rather than displeasure. What are you doing here?" She clutched the envelope tighter, her rehearsed speech evaporating. "I thought you'd be with your groomsmen." Nan's change of plans. Needed a moment alone. His gaze fell to the envelope in her hands. "What's that?" Before she could answer, the suite door closed behind him with an ominous click. Adam reached for the handle and turned it. Nothing happened. "None. That's strange," he muttered, trying again with more force. Violet's stomach dropped. "Is it locked?" Seems like it. Ma'am." He pulled out his phone. "I'll call maintenance." Nays, Adam dialed. Violet tried the door herself, jiggling the handle with increasing desperation. The reality of their situation sank in. Trapped in a hotel suite with the man she'd secretly loved for 5 years, 60 minutes before his wedding to another woman. Numb. "They're sending someone up," Adam said, sliding his phone back into his pocket. "Apparently there's an issue with the electronic locks on this floor. Should be fixed in 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes. She could handle 15 minutes of polite conversation. But as the silence stretched between them, the weight of everything unsaid made the spacious suite feel suffocating. "Nunhen, so are." Adam gestured to the envelope she still clutched. "Or what brings you here?" Violet swallowed hard. There was no avoiding it now. "My resignation letter, T." His expression shifted from confusion to shock. "Resignation? But why? Is it the promotion? Because if Williams is giving you trouble, it's not that." She cut him off, unable to bear his concern. "Oh, it's just time for a change." Nadim's dark eyes studied her face with the intensity that had always made her feel transparent. "After 5 years? Just like that?" "Not just like that," she replied, her voice softer than intended. I've been thinking about it for a while. And since when? He stepped closer, and she caught the familiar scent of his cologne, sandalwood, and something uniquely him. And since you got engaged. The words tumbled out before she could stop them. The air between them changed, charged with a new tension. Adam's expression was unreadable as he processed her statement. Then Violet, sorry, he began, but his phone buzzed, breaking the moment. He glanced at the screen and frowned. Nun's your fiancé? Violet asked, already knowing the answer. Adam nodded, but didn't answer the call. Instead, he set the phone down and turned back to her. Why would my engagement affect your career decisions? And the question hung in the air, demanding an answer she'd kept buried for 5 years. Violet felt cornered by the locked door, by his piercing gaze, by the ticking clock that counted down to his wedding. Nance, because I can't stand by and watch you marry someone else, she whispered, the truth finally breaking free. I can't be in that church, smiling and pretending I'm happy for you, when every part of me is breaking. Adam stood perfectly still, his expression shifting through shock, confusion, and something else. Something that made her heart race. Then, what are you saying? Well, his voice was barely audible. Violet closed her eyes, gathering the last fragments of her courage. When she opened them again, she met his gaze directly. Nahani. I'm saying that I've been in love with you for 5 years, Adam. And I wish you chose me. The confession hung in the air between them, impossible to take back. Outside the window, the New York skyline stretched endlessly, indifferent to the drama unfolding in the luxury suite. Inside, time seemed suspended as Adam stared at her, his composed CEO facade cracking to reveal genuine astonishment. His phone buzzed again insistently. The wedding planner, no doubt, wondering where the groom had disappeared to. 55 minutes until he would stand at the altar with another woman. Violet turned away, unable to bear the pity she expected to see in his eyes. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. This is your wedding day, and I'm making it about me. She moved toward the window, putting distance between them. Just forget I said anything. Please. But Adam didn't respond. Instead, he picked up the resignation letter she'd dropped on the desk and slowly opened it, as if the answers to all his questions might be found in her carefully typed words of farewell. The first time Violet met Adam Chen was during her job interview at Meridian Enterprises. Fresh out of business school, she'd been intimidated by the glass and steel skyscraper that housed the corporate headquarters. But nothing had prepared her for Adam himself, 32, already CEO, with a reputation for brilliance that was matched only by his demands for perfection. Why should I hire you as my executive assistant? He'd asked, not looking up from her resume. No. Because I'll anticipate what you need before you know you need it. She'd answered without hesitation. That had made him look up, dark eyes assessing her with new interest. By the end of the day, she had the job. By the end of the month, she knew she was in trouble. Developing feelings for her boss was the most cliched mistake in the corporate world. Standing now in the locked hotel suite, Violet watched Adam reading her resignation letter, his brow furrowed in concentration. 5 years of memories washed over her. Late nights preparing for board meetings, international business trips where they'd navigated foreign cities together. Countless cups of coffee delivered exactly how he liked it. No. You never said anything. Adam finally spoke, looking up from the letter. 5 years, and you never gave me any indication. And what was I supposed to say? Violet asked. Excuse me, Mr. Chen, but I think I'm falling in love with you. That would have been completely inappropriate. Then, you could have said something after hours. We've spent more time together than most married couples. Violet laughed bitterly. And risk my job? My professional reputation? Besides, you were always dating someone? Models, socialites, women from your social circle? I'm just your assistant from Queens. Adam frowned. Is that really how you see yourself? Just my assistant? And then, it's how everyone else sees me, she countered. Including you until about 5 minutes ago. He set the letter down, running a hand through his perfectly styled hair. That's not fair, Violet. You've been indispensable to me. Then, as an employee, she clarified. Which is exactly why I need to leave. I can't separate my professional and personal feelings anymore. 6 months ago, everything had changed. Adam had called her into his office on a Tuesday morning, looking uncharacteristically nervous. Nenny's, I'm getting married, he'd announced without preamble. Violet had felt the floor drop from beneath her feet, but her face remained professionally neutral as she congratulated him. Sophia Winters, daughter of a shipping magnate, graduate of Wharton, perfect match for the CEO of Meridian Enterprises. I'll need your help with the arrangements. He'd continued, oblivious to her inner turmoil. No one understands my schedule like you do. And so, Violet had spent 6 months helping plan the wedding that would break her heart, coordinating with planners, arranging the guest list, even helping select the venue. Each task had been a twist of the knife, but she'd performed them flawlessly, as she did everything for Adam. The wedding preparations must have been torture for you, Adam said now, as if reading her thoughts. And it's in us when Violet turned to face the window, unable to meet his eyes. It was my job, and Anisinoy Brian. Is that why you're really leaving? Because of my wedding? I'm leaving because I need to move on, she said quietly. I can't keep loving someone who doesn't love me back. And on Adam's phone buzzed again. This time, he checked it with a grimace. Sophia's wondering where I am. That you should answer her, Violet said, her voice hollow. She's about to be your wife. Instead of responding to the text, Adam set his phone down and moved closer to Violet. When did it start? Your feelings for me? The question caught her off guard. What did it matter now? But something in his expression made her answer honestly. Angstam, do you remember that conference in Tokyo 3 years ago? You had food poisoning the night before your keynote speech. Adam nodded slowly. You stayed up all night, revising my presentation and bringing me tea. Then, you were so vulnerable, she continued. Not the untouchable CEO, just a man who needed help. When you finally fell asleep, I sat in that hotel chair watching you breathe, and I knew I was in trouble. Then 3 years, he repeated, looking stunned. On all this time, and it doesn't matter now, Violet said firmly. In less than an hour, you'll be married. This conversation is pointless. And Adam turned away, pacing the length of the suite. I've been having doubts, he admitted suddenly. About the wedding. About Sophia. And Violet's heart stuttered. What kind of doubts? And the kind that keep me awake at night, he said, stopping to look at her. The kind that make me wonder if I'm marrying her for the right reasons. And which are? Our families have been business partners for generations. This merger. He caught himself. This marriage will secure the future of both companies. Mananasant a business arrangement, Violet said flatly. And Renadam had the grace to look ashamed. It's more complicated than that. Sophia is brilliant, beautiful, from my world. On paper, we're perfect for each other. Then, and off paper? He hesitated. Something's always felt missing. I thought it was just pre-wedding nerves. Violet's throat tightened. Jas, and now? Now I'm locked in a room with a woman who just confessed she's been in love with me for years, and I'm questioning everything I thought I knew. He ran a hand through his hair again, messing it up further. Why didn't you ever say anything, Violet? Why wait until today? Nuns, because it wouldn't have changed anything, she answered honestly. You were always going to choose someone like Sophia, someone who fits into your world. Nadam's phone buzzed again, more insistent this time. The wedding planner, no doubt, panicking about the missing groom. 40 minutes until the ceremony. Ninians. You should answer that, Violet said, nodding toward the phone. They need to know where you are. Adam looked at his phone, then back at Violet, conflict clear in his eyes. What if I told you I don't know if I can go through with this wedding? Violet's heart raced, but she forced herself to remain calm. I'd say you're having normal pre-wedding jitters, and my confession is confusing you. Don't make a life-altering decision because we're locked in a room together. But even as she said the words, Violet couldn't help the small flame of hope that ignited in her chest. For the first time in 5 years, Adam was looking at her not as his efficient assistant, but as a woman who loved him. 20 minutes had passed since maintenance promised to fix the door. Adam paced the suite like a caged tiger, occasionally trying the handle again, while Violet sat perched on the edge of an armchair, watching him. No, they said 15 minutes, he muttered, checking his watch for the dozenth time. And hotel time is like airplane time. Violet replied with forced lightness. Like always, an optimistic estimate. And Adam stopped pacing and faced her. We need to talk about what you said. And then Violet's stomach clenched. I'd rather we didn't. I've embarrassed myself enough for one day. And you haven't embarrassed yourself, he insisted, sitting on the coffee table directly in front of her, their knees almost touching. You've been honest. That's more than I can say for myself lately. His proximity was overwhelming. Violet could see the fine details of his face, the tiny scar above his right eyebrow from a childhood accident he'd once mentioned, the flecks of amber in his dark eyes, the slight shadow of stubble on his jaw despite his morning shave. Next, what do you mean? She asked. Adam sighed, running both hands through his hair in a gesture of frustration. This wedding, it wasn't entirely my idea. My father has been pushing for a merger with Winter's Shipping for years. When I met Sophia at a charity gala last year, it seemed like fate. She was smart, ambitious, from the right family. Our parents were thrilled. It's Manan. You don't sound thrilled, Violet observed. Nick Nunny. I thought I was doing the right thing, he continued. Securing the future of the company, fulfilling my family's expectations. Sophia and I get along well enough. We have similar goals, similar backgrounds. It made sense. Nance love isn't supposed to make sense, Violet said quietly. Adam's gaze met hers. You know, it isn't, is it? He reached for the resignation letter on the side table. Your letter says you've accepted a position at Crawford Industries. And Violet nodded. They offered me a senior operations role. Better title, better pay. On our direct competitor, Adam noted, a hint of accusation in his voice. At Nance, I needed a clean break, she defended. Somewhere you wouldn't be. Then Adam stood abruptly, moving to the window. So you were just going to disappear from my life after 5 years? None. What did you expect me to do? Violet asked, frustration building. And stay and watch you build a life with someone else? Organize your anniversary parties? Maybe someday help plan your children's birthday celebrations? Or as the raw pain in her voice made Adam turn back to face her. I never meant to hurt you. You didn't know, she said simply. That's the point. To you, I was just Violet, your efficient assistant who made your life run smoothly. To me, you were everything. The confession hung in the air between them, too honest to take back. Adam's phone rang, not a text this time, but a call. Sophia's name flashed on the screen. Zanan. You should answer that, Violet said, standing up. Zahar, she's probably worried. Adam stared at the phone, then at Violet. After a moment of hesitation, he picked up. Sophia, hi. Violet moved away to give him privacy, but in the confined space of the suite, she couldn't help overhearing his side of the conversation. Anasta. Yes, I know it's getting close. No, I'm still at the hotel. There's an issue with the door. I'm actually locked in my suite right now. Maintenance is working on it. No, don't send anyone up. They're already on it. I'll be there, don't worry. His voice sounded strained, professional, the same tone he used for difficult business calls. Not the voice of a man speaking to the woman he was about to marry. Anna. Of course, yes, I understand. I'll see you soon. He ended the call with a tight expression. Then, everything okay? Nay, Violet asked. None. She's concerned about the timeline. Oh, Adam said, sliding the phone into his pocket. The guests are arriving, and the wedding planner is having a meltdown. Nana. They should be able to fix the door soon, Violet assured him. You'll make it. And Adam didn't respond immediately. Instead, he walked back to where she stood and took her hands in his, an unprecedented gesture that made her breath catch. Now, what if I told you I've been thinking about you too? He said, his voice low and intense. Not just as my assistant, but as the woman who knows me better than anyone. The woman I look forward to seeing every morning. The woman whose opinion I value more than my board of directors. Violet's heart hammered in her chest. Adam, don't, Danny, let me finish. He interrupted gently. For years, I've convinced myself that what I felt for you was professional appreciation. That the reason I kept finding excuses to work late with you, to bring you on business trips when a video call would have sufficed, was because you're excellent at your job. And you are. The best assistant I've ever had. He took a deep breath before continuing. But that's not the whole truth. The truth is, I look forward to your smile every morning. I notice when you change your hairstyle. I remember how you take your coffee and which Thai dish you always order when we work through dinner. I've memorized the sound of your laugh and the way you bite your lip when you're concentrating. Violet stood frozen, afraid to believe what she was hearing. Ninast, the truth, Adam continued, his voice dropping to almost a whisper, is that my engagement to Sophia was partly because I was afraid of what I felt for you. It was safer to follow the path my family expected than to admit I was falling for someone who worked for me. Someone who might not feel the same way. Someone whose career could be damaged by my attention. Why are you telling me this now? Violet asked, her voice barely audible. Nenan. Because in 30 minutes, I'm supposed to marry someone else, and I'm standing here realizing I might be making the biggest mistake of my life. He released her hands and stepped back, running a hand through his hair again. My engagement to Sophia. It was a business arrangement from the beginning. Our families have wanted this merger for years. The marriage was the perfect solution. A merger, Violet repeated, the pieces finally clicking into place. That's why it happened so suddenly. Adam nodded, looking ashamed. So the official announcement about the companies merging will come next week. The wedding was meant to soften the business news, a love story for the press to focus on instead of the financial details. Violet felt a wave of clarity wash over her. So, all this time, while I've been helping plan your wedding, it was actually a business transaction I was facilitating. And it sounds terrible when you put it that way, Adam admitted. And because it is terrible, Violet said, anger flaring. You're marrying someone you don't love for a business deal. Does Sophia know that's how you see it? Then, Sophia understands the arrangement perfectly, Adam replied. Her father made it clear this was expected of her. She's as pragmatic about it as I was, until today. Then his phone buzzed again, the wedding planner this time. 25 minutes until the ceremony. Then, what changed today? Violet asked, her heart in her throat. Adam looked at her, his expression more open and vulnerable than she'd ever seen it. Yes, you did. When you said you wished I had chosen you, I realized I wished the same thing. 20 minutes until the ceremony. Adam's phone buzzed constantly now. Texts from his best man, calls from the wedding planner, messages from his parents. He had silenced it, placing it face down on the desk, as if that could hold back the outside world demanding his presence. Violet stood by the window, watching the afternoon light cast long shadows across the city. Her mind raced with Adam's confession. Could it be true? Had he really harbored feelings for her all this time? They should have fixed the door by now, she said, breaking the charged silence. Something's wrong. Adam tried the handle again, then knocked firmly on the door. Hello? Is anyone working on this lock? No response came from the hallway. Then try calling the front desk again, Violet suggested, her practical nature asserting itself despite the emotional chaos. Adam dialed, his expression growing more frustrated as he spoke. Yes, this is Adam Chen in the presidential suite. The door is still locked? What do you mean your maintenance team is dealing with a pipe burst on the 3rd floor? This is an emergency. Yes, I understand water damage is serious, but I have a wedding in, He checked his watch. These 18 minutes. He ended the call with a scowl. They're sending someone as soon as possible, but there's a major plumbing issue they're dealing with first. Violet felt a hysterical laugh bubble up inside her. Of course there is. The universe clearly has a sense of humor. Adam's phone lit up again. A text message from his mother. Where are you? Everyone is seated. Sophia's father looks ready to explode. He showed Violet the message, his expression conflicted. This is becoming a disaster. Then what are you going to do? She asked quietly. Adam paced the room, his usual composed demeanor cracking under the pressure. I don't know. Even if they fix the door right now, I'd barely make it downstairs in time. The guests are already seated. Sophia's family has flown in from 3 continents. The press is there. And not just the press, on his financial reporters. This wedding is as much about business as it is personal. The merger depends on it. And Violet felt a cold realization wash over her. So if you don't go through with this wedding, the merger fails? Most likely, Adam admitted. My father would find a way to salvage something. But the terms would be significantly less favorable. Winter shipping might back out entirely. And what would that mean for Meridian? Adam hesitated. We'd survive, but it would be a setback. We've been positioning for this merger for months, reallocating resources, preparing the board. Now 15 minutes until the ceremony. The weight of reality pressed down on them both. This wasn't just about feelings. It was about hundreds of employees, shareholders, family legacies. None. You have to go through with it, Violet said finally, her voice hollow. Too many people are counting on you. Adam stopped pacing, turning to face her with an intensity that made her breath catch. Is that what you really think I should do? Marry someone I don't love for a business deal? Then it's not that simple. It is that simple, he interrupted. Either I walk downstairs and marry Sophia, knowing I'm in love with someone else, or I don't. Everything else is just consequences. And the word hung between them. Love. He had said it so casually, as if it were an established fact rather than a revelation. Nenhouse, you don't love me? Violet said, shaking her head. You're confused because of what I said, because we're trapped here with the clock ticking down. This isn't real. Nadim closed the distance between them in 3 quick strides, his hands coming up to frame her face with a gentleness that belied his intensity. This is the only real thing I've felt in years. I've been sleepwalking through my life, following the path laid out for me, never questioning why I felt so empty despite having everything I was supposed to want. His thumbs brushed her cheekbones, and Violet felt herself trembling. Adam, please, when you walked into my office 5 years ago, something changed. I told myself it was because you were exceptional at your job, and you are. But it was more than that. You challenge me. You see me, not the CEO or the Chen heir, but me. Do you know how rare that is in my world? And then Violet's heart raced, hope and fear warring within her. What about Sophia? The wedding? Your family? Atanan, I don't know, he admitted. I just know I can't stand at that altar and promise forever to someone when my heart is here in this room with you. And then minutes until the ceremony. Adam's phone rang again, his father this time. He ignored it, his gaze never leaving Violet's face, and then, I'm not asking you for promises, he said softly. I'm just asking for a chance to figure out what this is between us, without the pressure of my family or the company or 5 years of being boss and employee. And Violet felt tears prick her eyes. You're about to destroy a multi-million-dollar merger and disappoint 2 powerful families. All for what? A feeling that might not even last once we're out of this room? Nadim's hands slid down to her shoulders, steady and warm. Some things are worth the risk. Outside the window, the sun began its descent toward the horizon, painting the New York skyline in hues of gold and amber. Inside, time seemed to stand still as they stood at the precipice of a decision that would change everything. 7 minutes until the ceremony. Adam's phone buzzed with a text from his best man. Dude, where the hell are you? The string quartet is running out of music to play. 5 minutes until the ceremony. The persistent knocking on the suite door finally signaled the arrival of maintenance. Nachafenmana, Mr. Chen? Hotel security. We're going to have to override the lock system. Nadim stepped away from Violet, calling back, Sharp, please, hurry. And the sound of electronic beeping followed. Then a mechanical whir as the lock disengaged. The door swung open to reveal a uniformed security officer and a flustered-looking maintenance man. So sorry for the inconvenience, sir, the security officer began. Kai, the system malfunction affected several floors. It's fine. Adam cut him off. Thank you for getting us out. As the hotel staff retreated with apologies, Adam and Violet stood in the newly opened doorway, the reality of their situation crashing back upon them. Freedom meant decisions. Decisions meant consequences. And that's your wedding? Violet said softly. You need to go. Then Adam checked his watch and grimaced. I wouldn't make it downstairs in time, even if I ran. He pulled out his phone, which had been buzzing continuously, and made a decision. He dialed a number, his expression resolute. Nance Sophia? It's Adam. Yes, I know what time it is. The door's fixed, but we need to talk before I come down. No, it can't wait. Could you meet me in the garden terrace? The private section we reserved for photos. Yes, now. Please, Sophia, it's important. And he ended the call and looked at Violet. I need to speak with her in person. I owe her that much. What are you going to say? Violet asked, her heart pounding. And Auntie, the truth, Adam replied simply. That I can't go through with a marriage based on business interests rather than love. That she deserves better than that. We both do. Violet felt a surge of panic. Adam, think about what you're doing. This isn't just about us. The merger, your family, her family, Rodna, and I have thought about it. He interrupted. For the past hour, it's all I've been thinking about. And I've realized something. I've spent my entire life making decisions based on what's best for Meridian Enterprises, what would please my father, what makes sense on paper. Not once have I asked myself what I actually want. Nadine. He took her hands in his touch sending electricity through her veins. Until today. Until you. The sincerity in his eyes made her breath catch. For a moment, she allowed herself to believe it could be real. That Adam Chen, CEO and heir to a corporate empire, could choose her over everything he'd been raised to value. Nance, I need to go meet Sophia, he said, releasing her hands reluctantly. And will you wait for me, please? Violet hesitated. I don't think that's a good idea. This should be private between you and her. Not here, he clarified. There's a small lounge at the end of this hall. Wait for me there. I won't be long. Against her better judgment, Violet nodded. Okay. Nadam squeezed her hands once more before turning to leave. At the door, he paused and looked back. Violet, thank you for being brave enough to tell me the truth today. I'm sorry it took me 5 years to be brave enough to admit it to myself. And with that, he was gone, leaving Violet alone in the suite that had changed everything. The private lounge was mercifully empty when Violet entered. Through the window, she could see guests milling about in the garden below, confusion evident in their body language. The string quartet had stopped playing. The wedding planner was gesturing frantically to staff. Something was happening. 20 minutes passed like an eternity. Violet paced the small room, alternating between hope and panic. What if Adam changed his mind upon seeing Sophia? What if his family convinced him to go through with the wedding? What if this was all a momentary madness brought on by the unusual circumstances of being locked in a room together? Thence the door opened, and Violet spun around, her heart in her throat. Adam stood there, his bow tie completely undone now, his expression unreadable. It's done. Lasper, he said simply. I told her the truth. Nance, how did she take it? Violet asked, almost afraid to hear the answer. A rueful smile crossed his face. Better than I deserved. She said she'd suspected for a while that my heart wasn't in it. Apparently, I mentioned you in conversation more than I realized. Violet felt heat rise to her cheeks. What happens now? Now, Adam said, moving closer. Her father is threatening to sue Meridian for breach of contract. My father is trying to salvage the merger. The guests are being told there's been a postponement due to unforeseen circumstances. And I'm here, with you, not regretting a thing. He stood before her now, close enough that she could see the flecks of amber in his dark eyes. I should have done this years ago, he murmured. And then he was kissing her, and Violet had imagined this moment countless times over the years. But reality surpassed every fantasy. His lips were soft but insistent against hers, his hands gentle as they cradled her face. She melted into him, 5 years of longing culminating in this perfect moment. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, Adam rested his forehead against hers. I've wanted to do that since Tokyo, he confessed. Violet laughed softly. You had food poisoning in Tokyo? Even then, he insisted with a smile. Especially then, when you took care of me and kept the world at bay. A commotion in the hallway broke the moment, raised voices approaching the lounge. Adam tensed, recognizing his father's authoritative tone. And Adam, what the hell is going on? The Winters are threatening to pull out completely. The door burst open to reveal Lawrence Chen, Adam's father, impeccably dressed and thunderously angry. Behind him stood Adam's mother and the wedding planner, both looking distressed. Lawrence's gaze darted between Adam and Violet, understanding dawning on his face. So this is why you've thrown away years of planning? For your secretary? Nan's executive assistant. Adam corrected calmly, stepping slightly in front of Violet in a protective gesture that didn't go unnoticed. Farkis, and yes, partly. But mostly because I refuse to enter a marriage without love, regardless of the business implications. And do you have any idea what you've done? Lawrence demanded. The stock will plummet when this gets out. The board will question your judgment. The merger, will be renegotiated. Adam finished firmly. On terms that don't include me marrying someone I don't love. His father's face reddened dangerously. This is not how I raised you to conduct business. No, Adam agreed. You raised me to value the company above all else. But I've learned there are some things more important than Meridian's quarterly projections. He reached back, finding Violet's hand and intertwining their fingers. The simple gesture spoke volumes. Lawrence noticed, his expression shifting from anger to calculation. We'll discuss this later, he said, finally. Right now, I need to do damage control. Unless his parents left. Adam turned back to Violet, uncertainty flashing across his features for the first time. I've just upended my entire life. I should probably be terrified. Ernest, are you? She asked softly. He considered for a moment, then smiled. A genuine smile that reached his eyes. No. For the first time in years, I feel free. And the aftermath of a canceled society wedding was exactly as chaotic as one might expect. Financial reporters who had come to cover the union of two business dynasties instead found themselves reporting on a dramatic last-minute cancellation. Speculation ran rampant. Health issues, pre-nuptial agreement disputes, cold feet, and snesten. No one suspected the real reason, that Adam Chen had fallen in love with his executive assistant. And Violet watched it all unfold from a distance. After leaving the hotel through a service entrance to avoid the press, she had returned to her apartment in Queens, half convinced that once Adam faced the full consequences of his decision, he would regret choosing her. 3 days passed with no word from him. Violet alternated between hope and despair, checking her phone constantly while telling herself she was a fool for expecting anything. On the fourth day, a knock at her door startled her from her thoughts. When she opened it, Adam stood there, looking both exhausted and determined. "Anna, may I come in?" he asked simply. Violet's small apartment was a far cry from the luxury Adam was accustomed to, but he didn't seem to notice as he entered, his eyes fixed on her. "No, I thought you might have changed your mind," she said quietly, closing the door behind him. "And about us?" Adam shook his head. "No, but I've been dealing with the fallout. My father threatened to remove me as CEO. The board called an emergency meeting. Sophia's family pulled out of the merger completely." Violet felt a wave of guilt. "I'm so sorry." Don't be," Adam said firmly. "I presented an alternative restructuring plan to the board yesterday. It was approved this morning. We'll take a short-term hit, but Meridian will survive without the Winters merger." "And your father?" Adam's expression softened. "He's still angry, but my mother has been surprisingly supportive. She told me she never thought Sophia was right for me. Apparently she noticed how I looked at you years ago." Violet felt heat rise to her cheeks. "So what happens now?" "And that depends," Adam said, moving closer. "I've had to make a lot of decisions these past few days. The most important one is about us." Violet's heart raced. "What did you decide?" "That I want to do this right?" He said softly. "No more hiding. No more pretending my feelings for you are purely professional. But I also understand that as long as you work directly for me, there will always be a power imbalance. And I already resigned." Violet reminded him. "I'm supposed to start at Crawford next week." Then Adam nodded. "Oh, I know. And while I hate losing you at Meridian, I think it's the right decision for us personally. We need to start on equal footing." "So we're really doing this?" Violet asked, hardly daring to believe it. "Or dating, like normal people?" Nennis and Adam smiled, the tension in his shoulders easing. "I'd like to try. Though I should warn you, normal isn't exactly in my wheelhouse. There will be press attention once this gets out. My family will be difficult. The business world will talk. I don't care about any of that," Violet said honestly. "I just want you." Adam closed the distance between them, his hands coming up to frame her face. "You have me." "Oh," he promised, before capturing her lips in a kiss that felt like coming home. 3 months later, Violet stood on the balcony of Adam's penthouse, watching the sunset paint the New York skyline in shades of gold and pink. Strong arms encircled her waist from behind as Adam joined her, resting his chin on her shoulder. "Yet none, penny for your thoughts," he murmured against her ear. Violet leaned back into his embrace. Just thinking about how much has changed. 3 months ago, I was helping plan your wedding to another woman." Adam tightened his hold on her. And now I'm dating my former boss, working at a competitor firm, and scandalizing the entire financial district," she replied with a laugh. "My mother thinks I've lost my mind." "Has it been worth it?" he asked, a hint of vulnerability in his voice. Violet turned in his arms to face him. Every moment. The past 3 months hadn't been easy. The press had eventually discovered the real reason behind the canceled wedding, leading to a frenzy of tabloid speculation. Adam's father still maintained a cool distance, though he had grudgingly acknowledged that Adam's alternative business strategy was working. Sophia had moved to London, graciously telling the press that she wished Adam happiness. Through it all, their relationship had grown stronger. Without the constraints of their professional roles, they discovered new facets of each other. Adam's surprising love of cooking, Violet's competitive streak at board games, their shared passion for obscure documentaries. "Then I have something for you, sir," Adam said, reaching into his pocket. He pulled out a small velvet box. Violet's eyes widened. "Beso, Adam, nen, it's not a ring," he assured her with a smile, opening the box to reveal a key. "It's to this apartment. I want you to move in with me." "And are you sure?" Violet asked. "It's only been 3 months." And Adam tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, his touch gentle. "I've never been more sure of anything. We've wasted 5 years already. I don't want to waste any more time." As the last rays of sunlight gilded the city below them, Violet took the key, her heart full. "Neither do I." She had spent years wishing he would choose her. Now that he had, every day felt like a gift. One she would never take for granted. "And I love you," Adam whispered against her lips. "And I love you too," Violet replied, knowing that sometimes wishes do come true, even if the path to them is unexpected. In the golden light of sunset, they sealed their promise with a kiss. Not as boss and assistant, but as equals who had finally found their way to each other.